I'm so excited to bring to the stage Julia Rittereiser, who is the CEO of KORA MIKINO, which is a sustainable Femcare product. Julia Rittereiser developed the first menstrual panty in creative collaboration with 800 women, experts from textile research and German SMEs. The result is a truly fair, sustainable and feminist product along the value chain that is not only highly technically functional, it also makes a really immense, valuable contribution to reducing waste and CO2 emissions. Conventional hygiene products already generate 2.9 billion kilograms of waste every single year. In times of climate change and resource scarcity, new solutions are needed. The goal of KORA MIKINO is to menstruate together against climate change and to fight the taboo around menstruation. Julia will be sharing 55 marketing mistakes that they've made since launching their period underwear brand KORA MIKINO. Give it up for Julia Rittereiser.
So clickbait apparently works. 55 marketing mistakes we made since launching our brand. Of course, I chose the word mistake because it clicks better, and you probably are watching here because you are curious what kind of mistakes you made. Actually, of course, it's learnings. I'm quite grateful for many of the mistakes we made, and I kind of hope with sharing those mistakes and learnings, you might not do them, or you maybe did the same mistakes. And if you did, please reach out to me. Maybe I don't feel the one who's alone, like doing these mistakes all the time. Who are we? Actually, my name is Julia Rittereiser, and I'm the founder of KORA MIKINO. And if choosing this name was a mistake, you'll learn later on in the presentation, actually. When I started my company, I was especially interested in one specific area, and that's when female needs are overlooked or not catered for in a sufficient way. To be more precise, I really liked the category Femcare, and I wanted to create something that's modern, comfy, and really caters female needs. And Femcare might sound a bit mysterious to you. What I specifically talk about is like products around periods. So when you look at like products for periods, the usual ones like tampons and panty liners, there's not much innovation. Like in the last 30 or 40 years, you've seen the same tampons on the shelf, you've seen the same liners on the shelf, and usually they're packaged in pink plastic, and in the ads you see blue blood. It's so outdated, and I really wanted to change something and bring like a really comfy, modern product to the market that really resonates with females like myself. And 2 years ago, pretty much exactly on this date, we launched our very first product, and it's period underwear. And probably when you hear period underwear, you think about like it's a medical, super grandma style underwear, but you'll see the picture, and it's actually really modern, comfy, and it kind of looks a bit sexy. We currently bootstrapping our business, so we don't have any external investment, and it works. So pretty much 2 years now, we're on the market. We're bootstrapping. We're 9 people. We're profitable. We're growing really nicely. We're quite proud of that. And the approach, how we work, is we really love to co-create products with our customers. So we let them vote on colors, on styles. We do polls all the time. So we make sure we're super close to our target group to make sure we do exactly the things like when it comes to communication and when it comes to products they really want. And still, I'm standing here talking about 55 marketing mistakes we did. When I look now back to the last 2 years and I evaluate my organization, I see that we did really well when it comes to product development. Our average rating is between 4.7 and 4.9 on a 5 scale for the product, so people are really happy with our products. Our e-commerce shop runs super smooth. We have crazy good conversion rates. operations is really nice, but the thing that kept me awake at night many times was our marketing. And I came up to 55 mistakes. I don't have the time to go into every detail today, but I'm gonna pick the biggest ones and the ones that are most interesting. And here we go. So that's probably a mistake many people do. If you are a part of the target group, you many times think you are the target group. And we're 9 females, and we all have periods, and we all use our products, but we're no representation of the target group. And we many times totally forgot about that. Because we live in Berlin, we're in that bubble, in that green, eco-conscious, feminist bubble. But when we look at the numbers in our analytics, we see that actually our target audience, like our customer, she lives outside the city, she doesn't live in Berlin, and she's not so much into sustainability or feminism as we are. So there is quite a disconnect. And actually, when I look back the last 2 years, we many times forgot about that. And we tended to please or wanted to please the wrong people. Like when you are in the field of sustainability, and that's something we really care about because we have a mission of reducing waste from single-use hygiene products, you look up to activists or journalists or maybe brands that are way older. But if you try to please these guys, you totally forget about the needs of your actual audience. So we can never sustainable enough. We can never advanced enough in terms of feminism or whatsoever in their eyes. And many times we try to please them instead of saying, okay, we try to give our best and make sure we include all of our audience. And when I talk about our audience, I just said it before, Berlin is not representative. So we're based in Berlin, but basically just a very small fraction of our customers based in Berlin. And actually the way more interesting target group is Austria, because Austrians, they have bigger baskets, they return less, they don't write so many tickets for customer service. So that's actually my recommendation for everyone. Don't focus on Berlin, instead use Austria, and you make way more money and you have way more fun. And one thing, when I talk about sustainability, that's something that's super important for us. But we found actually out with our period underwear, our target group, they care about comfort and they want to feel sexy during their period. Thus, we now do a lot of lace styles. We basically neglect basic styles and we do a lot of lace and really nice things with red lace that's really sexy, and that sells like crazy. So listening to the target group. Design. So I don't have any design background. I'm totally a numbers person. And I did so many mistakes. I saved on photographers, you see the picture on the right. I have so many pictures like this on my Google Drive I cannot use in marketing or wherever because they're just not right. The message doesn't work. And it's not the photographer's fault alone. It's like if you don't have like a proper briefing, or if you cannot like really articulate how your brand or your product should look like on a picture, it's really tricky for them to produce something. And that's a big learning. We saved on photographers because we didn't have the money at the beginning and we got like shitty-ish results. Same with designers. If you want quality, you have to pay up. And only now, 2 years in, we're finally hiring a full-time designer. It's way too late, and if you look at our Instagram, you'll see that it's very much needed, and that's a mistake I would never do. Probably the designer would be the second person I would hire if I would start over again. And actually, when you think about performance, because that's something that's way closer to my heart probably than beautiful images, I totally underestimated the hunger of Facebook ads for design and ad creatives. In order to have amazing performance on Facebook, and that's a channel we actually use pretty successfully with really nice ROIs, you need to have basically a creative ad factory behind someone who's creating day and night ad creatives in order to have a nice performance. So it ties together like beautiful things and performance. And Another mistake I made in terms of design quite sometimes is we work with creative people and we never really made sure they're comfy with like commercial work. So sometimes we then get the feedback, hey, this doesn't go along with my artistic vision. Well, that's not their fault, but that was our fault, not choosing the right people, because many times an artistic vision and like what your brand wants to express is totally clashing, at least in our case. People. So as I said before, we're a mission-based startup. So our mission is to reduce waste, to empower females, to smash the taboo around periods. And that, of course, attracts a lot of talent when I'm hiring. And that's amazing because a lot of, especially females, want to work for such a company as ours. But something I learned the very hard way, especially when it comes to marketing. You need to care more about that this person you're going to hire loves marketing more than the mission. Because if you have someone who just loves your company and basically comes and says, I don't care what kind of job I do, well, you have just a marketing position, I'm okay with that, you'll never get the amazing marketer you need as an early stage startup. So right now when I'm hiring, I don't care so much if they totally can identify with everything we are doing. Well, most of it should be okay. But I really care about if they're like a full-blooded marketer and if they love their profession and are really knowledgeable. Same with social media managers. I hired someone who doesn't like social media. And I only found out a couple months in. And looking back, that's such an obvious mistake. But now the thing we do, especially for social media, and social media is so important for a brand like ours, the private Instagram, the private TikTok, the private Pinterest, the private YouTube is their portfolio. And that's the first thing I'm asking them to submit when they apply for us, to share their social channels with us. Because if someone who's like, hey, on a theoretical level, I really like social media, but whoa, I would never post something, and I have a private Instagram account, and only my aunt and my grandma are following me, well, I kind of doubt that this person really loves social media. So we learned it the hard way, and we're now again looking for a social media manager who actually loves the platform. And another thing we learned, and we're currently switching, is like, and it's so easy, contracts with creatives. If you work with their contracts, you have to read through dozens of pages. They're all different. They use different terms for buyouts, for everything. So what we're going to do now is we're going to have our set of contracts and they have to sign our stuff. Because it's so messy. We work like every day with 10 to 20 to 30 creatives on all of our channels. And I probably by accident violate copyrights every day. And I don't want to do that because people get really offended for good reason. So we're completely switching this and trying to make it really clean and easy for everyone. And now comes the irony. My background is ad buying or ad selling. I used to work 5 years for a tech company selling ads. And still, I did a lot of rookie mistakes. The first one, nailing one. At one point, we did like ads on Google, Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest. And we didn't even nail one channel. So really keep it simple. Then we reduced it all. We started with Instagram, Facebook. We made sure we have a nice ROI. Then we added Google again. And we never restarted on Pinterest because we still don't know how it works. And that's totally fine. I rather do a few things really well instead of a lot of things okay-ish. We totally underestimated Facebook advertising in the sense that it brings really nice traffic for really nice ROI, but we also overestimated it. You cannot scale it. At least we never managed to scale it over a certain extent. So then again, we have to think about different ad platforms to scale further. Funny thing is, I used to work on the Google Shopping team. I cannot manage to get Google Shopping profitable to the extent that it's interesting for us until this very day. No clue, but I'm always smiling every time I'm opening our ad account now. Google Shopping campaign is like really, really bad on performance because I went out and preached my customers how it works. And well, that's a bit of irony. I'm gonna skip some because in the sense of timing. And I want to talk about some strategic mistakes we did because I think that's something to learn. You probably remember when I said, or you probably don't remember our name, the name of my company. And that's a problem. It's KORA MIKINO. The story is beautiful. It means friend in Esperanto. And Esperanto was a language that was actually artificially made in order to make people from all over the world communicate together. Well, then came English, and nobody needed Esperanto anymore. And I'm not really creative, but I thought that's a nice story whatsoever, but no one can remember. So if I would do it over again, I would choose a brand or a product name with 4 letters starting with an A. Because then, if you're on a list, you're always the first one, and that's always a good thing, and everyone can remember. So I'm not sure how I'm going to go about this in the future, but that's actually a big mistake we did, probably the biggest one. Founder-centric. I thought I can, without external capital and with our bootstrapping strategy, start a company and ramp it up without making it all about me. It works, but it's way harder. And since I hold my face into Instagram and I show up on stages and I give TV interviews and I give press interviews, it's so much easier. And basically that's what many people even care more about than our product and our mission. It's my personal story. And I wasn't really comfy at the beginning, but now I'm at peace with this. And it kind of makes sense and really helps growing my brand if I'm the face of the company. I shared before that we are like in the Femcare segment, and there we are in a specific part with period underwear. And while I love that product, period underwear, and I think we can still really nicely grow, it will remain a niche, and that's fine. But when communicating and doing marketing, you need to be really careful when you have a niche product that your message is not too niche on top. Because if you level up 2 niches over another, no one will see you and no one will listen. What I mean with that is with period underwear, you have to have bold and like easy to access marketing messages and don't be too complicated or think about 3 corners. That doesn't work. Male investors. I pitched probably a couple of times our product or our company to male investors. And my big learning is you have to really start at the beginning and start with the biology lesson, because many things are missing when it comes to knowledge about like periods with people who don't have periods. That's probably understandable because in school we don't really learn about periods. And when is the time to relearn if you don't have it? I don't know. So I had to explain male investors what's period pain and that many people are actually affected by it, that periods come every month, and so on. So don't assume everyone knows, and that's my learning. Really start with the basics. Yeah, and then we tried to go international without actually nailing Germany. So we thought, well, it's easy, like the Denmark and the Nordics. It's really nice because you can make quite some nice money, and that's really nice target audience, and they really like our product probably whatsoever. Well, never really works if you don't have focus on something. So rather like focus on, so now we're rather focusing on our home market Germany and go really, really slow about internationalization instead of like going too fast and just not doing it right. So that's it from my side. You probably counted, and you probably counted less than 55 mistakes. That's because the time is limited. But if you saw something on the slides you're super interested in and I didn't talk about, hit me up on LinkedIn. I'm very happy to go into that in detail and we can have a chat about. Or if you made the same mistakes, please do the same. It really gives me comfort if I'm not the only one. So I'm really looking to have like a conversation offline then.
Julia, it's so great to have you here. Thank you. Let's start with the first question. In retrospect, which 3 of the 55 mistakes that you made were probably the most important?
So I'm gonna go first with the one like confusing the most important aspect of our products from our target audience, from our community, let's put it this way, sustainability and comfort. We thought it's sustainability, for them it's feeling comfy and sexy. That's probably the biggest mistake. Then I would say when hiring people with a mission and with marketing, that this is, we confused what's more important. That was the second biggest mistake. And then probably, well, I would say with the ad buying, trying too many things at once instead of really nailing one.
Okay, thank you so much. And I would like to know from you next, so period products, is it a niche product? Would you consider it a niche or?
It's often referred to as a niche, but let me ask you this, 50% of the population, at least partially of their lives, menstruate, so it's not a niche. Even if it's like put many times and talked about as a niche, but it's a huge market and it's a huge opportunity. Our very product, the one we currently having, period underwear, that's a niche, but that's not the only product we're gonna keep forever, so we're like expanding to don't stay in that niche.
Exciting. So in terms of promoting this product on the internet, I think it'd be really interesting to know, social media is blocking certain content automatically, and not every context on the internet seems to be ideal to promote hygiene products or Femcare products. So how have you been addressing this issue, and have you been experiencing challenges with promoting your product online?
Yeah, we're experiencing challenges like right now, because to display our product in use, we like to show it on a woman. And many times by Facebook marketing or by Instagram marketing, this is considered as like sexual content. While it's not, it's just a female person wearing like underwear. I actually thought they should block ads where period product companies show blue blood, because I think that's way more harmful to our society than us showing a female body in underwear.
Interesting. And I'm curious to see if there's going to be some changes over, the next couple of years or months or so. You already mentioned Instagram and Facebook. What would you say are your main promotional challenges? And what advertising and distribution channels are most effective among your community?
So the ones that are most effective is definitely Instagram, like organic and paid, Instagram, Facebook. That's the most effective one. We do a bit of Google ads as well, and then it's quite effective because I shared previously that I'm like the face of the company, and I do a lot of storytelling like in public. That's actually quite effective as well.
Very interesting. Okay, and speaking of niches, we've also heard you talk about expanding internationally and that you're now entering another German-speaking market in Austria. However, there are evidently also differences in the culture, there's differences in the social norms. And so I'd be curious to know, have you encountered any very unexpected challenges in this process?
So far, actually, I wouldn't really pinpoint it to the different countries. So we're really active only in Germany, Austria, and Switzerland, and I don't see too many differences. But I see differences when it comes to age. So, for instance, women over 50, they're either completely comfy talking about periods and bladder leaks and whatsoever, Or sometimes we get like letters or like emails or direct messages that people are really uncomfy, and they say, and they tell us this really upfront into our face. And the other thing is like with males, obviously on events like this or in my private life or in other occasions, I talk a lot to male people about periods. And I'm quite surprised in a positive way, because once you talk about it as it would be normal, which it is, you can have just a normal conversation.
Thank you so much for that, and really exciting to see these developments. Good luck with everything with KORA MIKINO.
Thank you.